Thank you so much for that kind introduction, Shirley, and thank you everybody for coming out. I'm just going to read a brief statement about the purpose of today's press conference, which is that the number one issue in Connecticut is improving our economy and creating an environment where we can build jobs and grow jobs. We're here today to talk about jobs, and specifically in ways that small businesses like Lucky Lou's Bar and Grill behind us can save money and create jobs for our economy. Last year, Congress did something very important to help consumers across Connecticut and across the country. With the considerable help of Congressman John Larson, Congress passed the Credit Card Accountability, Responsibility, and Disclosure Act, also known as CARD. That's a long name for a long law that goes a long way to protect consumers from credit card abuses. No longer can consumers be hit with retroactive and hair-trigger interest rate increases, shortened payment cycles, and inactivity fees by their credit card companies without adequate notice. That's important consumer legislation because there are nearly 400 million credit cards in the United States. But not everyone is protected. The Disclosure Act does not cover business or professional cards, and that's costing small businesses money. Why? According to the National Small Business Association, as many as 59% of small businesses use credit cards to help finance their business. 75% of those said their credit card terms had worsened in the last 6 months, and 33% said that their credit limit had been reduced. When credit lines shrink, small businesses can't grow, and when they can't grow, they can't create jobs. That hurts Connecticut and the rest of our country as well, where small businesses are responsible for more than half the private sector payroll and have generated 60 to 80% of net new jobs over the last 10 years. We need these jobs. We want to keep the jobs we have now and help create more for the future. I call on Congress to extend card protections to small businesses with 50 or fewer employees. That would have an immediate impact on their bottom line and their ability to create jobs. And as Attorney General, I will lobby the U.S. Congress. I will lobby, I don't need it, but John Larson and the other congressmen from Connecticut and work with other attorneys general from across the country to lobby their congressmen as well. At this time, I'd like to introduce Lucas Kyriakos. I think I got that right. Did I? Yes. Who opened Lucky Lou's Bar and Grill here in Old Weathersfield last year to say just a few words. Thank you for having us.
I would like anything to help consumers, restaurant owners, bar owners, small businesses, free up credit, which has gone from being so liberal to so tight, will help all of us. Anything to make it so easy for all of us. People are scared to spend money. Food costs has gone through the roof, but our pricing has gone way down, which puts a lid on margins for us to make profitability and to offer more benefits for our employees. So anything that can bring consumer confidence back, so we can borrow more money, spend more money, be greatly appreciated.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to introduce my longtime friend, one of my mentors when I entered the State Senate. John was president of the State Senate. That was in 1990. We were all a little younger then. I had a little more hair. Then I had him pegged as a great natural leader, and I take great pride in the prediction I made several years ago that John Larson will one day be Speaker of the House of Representatives in Washington.
One day.
Because I've seen him and the way he works and the way he operates, and he works so incredibly well with people. Politics is about bringing people together, forming coalitions, and John, there's nobody better at that than John Larson. Thank you, John.
George, thank you. Thank you. It's great to be here in Weathersfield. And Lucas, thank you. What a great establishment. And thank you so much of Weathersfield turning out, including 3 senators. I mean, when do you have this happen, you know? And that we get 3 senators here and an ambassador. I can't tell you how fortunate I feel to have Billy Ciotto working for me. Danny just said, you know, when I was talking to him, he said, yeah, he's the best, but they could go back and forth with their service to the State Senate, and now that of John Fonfera has just been terrific, and to be joined here by Andy and Russ as well. I'm grateful for the turnout, but because of George Jepsen. Now let me, Connecticut is the land of steady habits, and That's why this is the next Attorney General of the state of Connecticut, following in a tradition of being the People's Attorney General. Now, George and I go way back. When I say that, both of us cut our teeth at about the same time with another white-haired guy, except his hair wasn't so white then, named Chris Dodd. George, as you may recall, was the statewide coordinator for Chris Dodd at that time. I was the first district coordinator for Chris Dodd. And when we talk about the card bill, we certainly have to acknowledge the outstanding work of United States Senator Chris Dodd and Barney Frank. They both did an outstanding job. And what George has proposed is a logical follow-on to this. There isn't a town hall meeting that we go to or a constituent complaint that we don't hear that is related to credit cards and the concern that people have about this. And while this was a good step forward in terms of transparency and accountability, as George said, vast part of the people who utilize credit cards, primarily small businessmen, were left out of that. So this is a battle that we're certainly pleased to wage in the United States Congress, but at all levels you have to make sure that no matter what law that we pass, that we have capable people at the state level who can back that up. Shirley mentioned it. When you look at the pedigree that he brings to this job, Dartmouth, Harvard, you know, clerked with Archibald Cox. I mean, he brings a depth of experience serving. You know, he followed Dick Blumenthal first to the House of Representatives, then to the State Senate, and now to the office of Attorney General. But this season, in this time, and this concern that people have in this election, I think boils down to character and integrity. And at every level of public service, and whether it was clerking for Archibald Cox, whether it was serving in the Connecticut General Assembly, in the House and the Senate, whether it was as Democratic chairman of our party, George Jepsen has brought character and integrity. Watching him and Diana raise their two sons in what at best is a very difficult and transparent and open and public life, he continues to bring character and integrity. And that's what he'll bring to the office of Attorney General, carrying and waging the fight on behalf of everyday, ordinary citizens. It's a great position to be in. I can think of no one more qualified and better for the job than George Jepsen. I'm proud to be here and endorse his legislation, but more importantly, endorse him for Attorney General.